Kereisos Daf, the Gemara says, Simana Milsa, from a simon, from a sign, you could tell the future. For instance, if a person wants to see if he'll live out his year, he takes a candle in a Seres Tshuva, lights it in a dark place, in a place where there's no wind, and he sees if it lights well, he'll know that he'll live out his year. If a person wants to know if he's successful in a certain business, he buys a chicken. If it becomes fat, he'll be successful. If he wants to know if he'll return from a dangerous trip, he goes into a dark room, sees if he can tell a double shadow. That's a sign that he'll return. Says the Gemara, it's not recommended to do that because if one doesn't see his double shadow, he might stress himself out to the point that that itself will kill him. Since Simanim Milsa, that's why, as we know, on Rosh Hashanah, we do Simanim. The Gemara brings 5 types of fruit, which are Kara, Rubia, Karti, Silk, and Tamre, which in English are gourd, fenugreek, leek, beets, and dates. Rashi says these are fruits that either grow very quickly or are very sweet, and that's a good simon. Rabbi Shia would teach his son to learn the Mishnayos before he went in to learn from his Rebbe. And look at your Rebbe's mouth. Look at the facial expressions. You could tell what a Rebbe really means in his learning. A person should learn Torah on a river where the water flows. It's better to live in a house on a heap of trash rather than to live in a mansion where your neighbors are thieves, like in Pumbedisa. It's better to eat a little fish than a beautiful meal of kutach, which Rashi says is a problem with timtum alev. Chana vatispalel chana rama karni. Karni is a horn. Says the Gemara, if you anoint a king from a horn, then his kingdom will last forever, like David and Shlomo. But if you anoint a king like Shaul and Yehu, who are anointed from a flask which is breakable, their kingdom will break. If a person makes a batch of Ketores in order to teach other people or for the community, he's potter. But if he did it to smell it, then he's chayev. A person that smells the Ketores is potter from kares and chatas, but he's chayev on me'ilah, as long as the mitzvah wasn't performed already. Because once a mitzvah is performed, there's no me'ilah. Besides on 2 things, Trum Sadesh and Egla Arufa, once the mitzvah is performed, you're still chayev. Chachamim add also the bigdei kahuna, the garments of the kohen. Once they are done with the performance, Chacham say you're still over Ami'ilah. The Ketores was made out of 11 main samamonim spices. In the Torah, there's 4. Sari, which we call notaf, is a type of a tree. Shcheles, which we call tziparin, is gidulei karka. We learn from a klal of klal that anything that has smoke and has a nice fragrance is a mutter for the Ketores. Chalbana, which has a bad smell, you learn from that any fast day that doesn't include Paishi Yisrael, people that are over Aveira, is not considered a fast. You need to include everybody. As the Pasuk says, V'agadosei al Eretz Yisada, you need Achtos, you need all of Klal Yisrael in order for the world to exist. Those that are specific in the Torah, those spices, the 4 spices that you see in the chart, they consist of 70 mana each. We're trying to get to 368 mana. So we have 70 times 4. Then you have Morik Tzir Shabbos Ner V'Charkoim, which are 16 mana each. Kosh is 12, Kinamin is 9, Kilufa is 3. Total 368. To correspond to the 365 days of the year, and an additional 3 that the Kohen Gadol would use on Yom Kippur, he'd put his 2 hands in, he'd grab a Malay Chafnav, and use that for the Ketores. What do you do with the leftover? The leftover was accumulated over a period of 60 to 70 years, and until we had 184 mana, which is exactly half of 368. Once you have 184, you just make another batch of 184, and you have a full year's worth of Ketores. You see from here that according to everybody, to create 184 mana is 100% asr. Chacham say it's even asr to make 1 mana, which is enough to last for 1 day. Chacham added to the Ketores Baris Karshina, which is something that you wash off the tziparin. Tziparin is dark, and we don't want it to contaminate the rest of the Ketores. You wash it off. You also soak it in Yenkafrisen or in a older white wine, which creates a very strong fragrance. They added melech doimes, a roiva akav, a quarter of a kav, and something called malo ashan. Malo ashan is a spice that created a very straight flume of smoke, like a stick. Kibbutz hayardein, they added a little bit, and as we know, vim nosam bod dvash psola, vim chisar achas v'kolchat samanel chayav misa. In other words, you add a little bit of honey to the Ketores, you ruined it all, and if you miss one of the spices, you're chayiv misa, because the Kohen Gadol is now bringing Ketores into Kodesh HaKadoshim for no reason, he walked into Kodesh HaKadoshim, he's chayiv misa. You do not soak the tziparim in mei reglaim in urine, even though it's better for the tziparim, because you don't bring mei reglaim into the azara. You see from here that the process of creating the tires was done inside the azara. This that we learned, that a person can be magdish tires. How does he have tires? Either from the leftover tires, they gave it to somebody that performed work in the Beis Hamikdash as payment, and then the plan was to buy it off of him with truma, and until they were able to do so, he went ahead and used magdish it. Or it's talking about a person that was magdish one of the many samamonim. Twice a year, they'll take the tires, put it back into the mortar, and grind it up in order to revigorate the fragrance of the tires. On Yom Kippur, they would put it back in the mortar and grind it hadek to make it finer than fine. And when he was doing so, he would speak to it, he would sing to it, and he'd say hadek hadek. Just like sound is really bad for wine, sound is really good for besamim. In the summertime, in order that the tires shouldn't spoil and mold, they would spread it out. But in the winter, they would gather together in order that it shouldn't lose its fragrance. Any person or thing that doesn't have an isser to use Shemen HaMishcha, there's no isser for you, a Yisrael, to put Shemen HaMishcha on it. Therefore, there's no isser to put it on a guy, an animal, a kli, or a mace. Another reason is because it says in the Torah by Shemen HaMishcha, Adam has to be a person, Atem Kurim Adam, Veloy Heim, the guy is not Kari Adam, therefore there's no isser to put it on a guy. If a king or a Kohen Gadol already were anointed, and you go ahead and you anoint him for a second time, there's a machlokes whether or not you are chayiv. The first time that you anoint a king and a Kohen Gadol, you only have to put on a mashu, a small amount. But in order for a zar to be chayiv, the machlokes, Rameir says you put on a kolshu, and Rabbi Yehuda says it has to be kazayis, as the rest of the Torah, whenever it says nesina, nesina means that kazayis have a wonderful day.